What if I told you I was able to fly from New York to Ireland and come back in the same day for under $500? I'd seen so many videos of people taking day trips to different countries, so I thought to myself, could I pull this off and how much would it cost me? I took to Google Flights to find out what a round-trip ticket would be. I was flexible on the dates, but I knew that a Friday night red-eye and a Saturday afternoon return trip would be ideal. I booked about 3 months in advance with the Irish airline Aer Lingus, set for early October. I was set to fly out of JFK on a Friday around 5 p.m., land in Dublin Saturday morning at 4:25 a.m. local time, leave Dublin about 12 hours later at about 5 p.m., then be home in New York City a little after 7 p.m. on Saturday night. And the round trip ticket came to about $445 US, which left me with a budget of about $55 US or 46 euros. Join me as we see just how far it gets me. Hi, 39A?
A and the rice.
Ah, beautiful.
Likewise, otherwise. You're welcome.
And I must have forgotten that it was my birthday because almost the entire row next to me was empty on this flight. Once we were in the air, we were greeted with a hearty dinner where you had the choice of pasta or chicken. I got the chicken here, which consisted of vegetables, potatoes, and a roll with Irish butter. They also gave us this creamer, which I'm not sure what it was for, maybe for the coffee or tea they provided later. I had never seen water in a container like this before, but it was very refreshing. Then for dessert, we had a cheese mousse, which was actually pretty good. Then they gave us these funky headphones that had 2 aux plugins for watching a movie. After that, I tried to get some sleep with the remaining hours of the flight, and before you knew it, it was time for breakfast with a muffin and orange juice that they provided us. Good morning from the capital of Ireland, Dublin. We just got to the airport. It is about 4:30 in the morning. Just got through customs. When I do these short trips, it's sometimes funny. They sometimes wonder why you go a place for just a day. Fair point. But they were very nice, Irish customs. They said, oh, that's a big trip for just one day. And they're like, hope you enjoy, have a good time. I'm like, okay. And we flew Aer Lingus. The experience with Aer Lingus was fantastic. It wasn't a full flight, so I ended up having like a whole row to myself, which is basically like being in business class when you're in economy. The round trip from New York City to Dublin was about $445 US. So it puts me at about 222 and a half US dollars one way. 222 US dollars one way is pretty good for having a whole row to yourself, getting breakfast, having dinner. So that puts us with our budget for today for about 55 US dollars, which is about 50 euros. Next up, we're going to figure out how to get a leap card for the Dublin Bus system to get into the city center. Otherwise, I'll be back here in about 12 hours. As we navigate our way out of the Dublin airport, I just want to point out the largest budget airline in Europe is here in Ireland. If you see the yellow logo, Ryanair, there's a ton of flights out of Dublin. I'm going to show you right now. If I do Dublin to Barcelona on Skyscanner and then change the date to October, today is October 3rd. It is $18 on October 7th to go from Dublin to Barcelona. I can't even get a cab right now to go downtown for that cheap. A very important purchase made at SPAR, right here in Terminal 2. Terminal 2 is where the international flights will be, so this is what we got. So we got the Leap Visitor Pass. Came out to 9 euros. So this is going to be unlimited rides for public transportation. So I personally got it so I can take Dublin Bus into Dublin and then back to the airport. So yeah, coming in internationally, come to SPAR, and then they're just right at the counter. You have to ask for the Leap card, get the visitor pass, just ask for 1 day. You should be good to go. So the next stop will be figuring out where the bus is and see if we can use this. Alright, we're looking for Dublin Bus, Zone 15. It is 5:21. there should be a 5:30 bus for Route 41 that goes into the center city of Dublin. So we just gotta get to, I think, zone 15. It's a rainy, chilly morning. Woo! Very, very, very windy morning in Dublin. This beautiful Saturday. I mentioned it's my first time in Dublin. So, we go 15 to the left here. Please, we're almost there. Oh, this looks familiar. This has got to be it. Zone 15. I think we're going to make it. We found the one that says to city. So it should be coming in like 7 minutes. So just got to stay warm until then. It was about a 40-minute bus ride from the airport where I got off at Upper O'Connell Street, which was pretty close to city center. It is quite a windy Saturday morning here in Dublin. If you can't tell, everything's flying around. We're here on the Halfpenny Bridge. It is a really symbolic part of Ireland. It's really become the Eiffel Tower of Ireland. As you can see, it's right here at the River Liffey, which connects Temple Bar over to the spire, which we'll get to soon. So where this bridge got its name from, the Halfpenny Bridge, is people used to have to pay a toll of half a penny to cross the bridge. Now we're able just to walk over it free of charge. You might get blown away in the wind, but totally free of charge. This is my very first time in Dublin, and I did do quite a bit of research before coming on this trip, and everybody was saying that the weather can be unexpected. And mind you, it is October, so I guess colder weather can be expected. As you can see, the city's starting to come more alive as the sun's coming up. There's a nice view of the double-decker Dublin bus system, which we took from the airport this morning. We are now approaching the tallest sculpture in the world. Originally, Nelson's Pillar was in this exact location. That was bombed in the 1960s. So in 2003, Ireland went out and built something to represent their independence further from the UK, from Britain, which we'll talk more about in a bit. This spire stands at about 120 meters, or about 400 feet. It's the tallest sculpture in the world. Ireland built this spire as a symbol for independence from Britain. It's a symbol of modernism, that Ireland's moving forward away from colonial times and colonial designs and architecture of the city. And right next to the spire we have here is the General Post Office. Now, this was the location, the headquarters of the first real armed rebellion that Ireland had against the British. The British ruled Ireland for over 800 years, and they gained their independence in the mid-20th century, not without a lot of harsh battles being fought for that. History is still very clear here, with bullet holes still being in the columns of the building. Just a reminder of the struggles that Ireland went through to gain their independence. Here is a quick visual to show how the Republic of Ireland is a separate entity from Northern Ireland. Highlighted here is what is known independently as the Republic of Ireland. Now notice when I switch to the United Kingdom, you can see Northern Ireland is a constituent part of the UK and a separate entity from the Republic of Ireland. The UK is then made up of Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and England. But the point I want to drive home is if you come to Ireland, to be aware and respectful of the difference between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. In terms of public transportation, Ireland does have a bus system. They have a coach bus system. They also have a tram and something that they call the DART. Interestingly enough, Dublin does not have a metro system or a subway. I hear that that's been in the works here. I think they've done a pretty good job preserving the city, and when you add something like a metro system, oftentimes those old parts of the city are less preserved. Like you think about Greenwich Village in New York City, there's not a subway or metro stop that goes there. You think about Old City in Philadelphia, there's not a line that goes to that location. So now that the sun's up in Dublin, I'm starting to see some more of the stores start to open. If you forgot any clothes on your trip, you can always stop at Pennies for something cheap and inexpensive. Now it's time for a traditional Irish breakfast. Most of the full Irish breakfasts that I've seen on the menus out here looks like they run about 15-16 euros. So add that plus the 9 euros for the Metro card. So we're looking at about 25, give or take, euros spent so far. So that leaves us around 22 euros on the budget remaining. So let's get this Irish breakfast in us and we'll keep moving. Now, if you are feeling adventurous when you visit Ireland, you can try the black and white puddings, which are usually part of an Irish breakfast. So traditionally, it's sausages made with a base of pork, oatmeal, and spices. The main difference between the black and white pudding is the black pudding contains blood, which gives it the darker color, bolder, earthier flavor, while the white contains pork fat, not containing blood, making that a milder and creamier version. All right, and it's still quite early in the morning. Let's hope that they're open. I think we're going to want to sit inside too. Looks like they are open. So we're waiting for the full Irish breakfast right now, and I also ordered some milk with it. About €2.90. So we'll add that to the budget. I am a big fan of milk, and being in Ireland, they're known for things like their potatoes, their dairy. So we gotta try some milk over here. So looking forward to that.
When the weather is nice, the experience is good. But when it's a storm, it's amazing.
So the Irish breakfast, the milk, pretty delicious. So happy we made that stop. We have a little bit of energy now to withstand the storm here with the wind and the little bit of rain that's coming in now. So let's try to cross the street here without getting hit by a bike or a tram or a bus, because they do drive on the left side of the road here. As you can see them coming. You can see the cars driving on the left side of the street. It's my first time seeing that. It's pretty awesome. So, as it's beginning to rain, something very interesting about Ireland is they have a very low corporate tax. What this means is that they actually tax corporations at a very low rate. Now, this is more attractive for big corporations to set up their European headquarters in Dublin. That's the case for many American companies such as Meta, Google, Microsoft. All these big tech companies have their European headquarters in Dublin. They're paying low tax. There's a big benefit for Dublin as well. This brings people in with advanced degrees. Having these big corporations really stimulates the economy. More people coming into the city, coming into the greater Dublin area, more people that are going to the restaurants, create basically more jobs for the area. Now, this is also true in the financial sector. You see big players like Merrill Lynch, like Citibank, JP Morgan. They all have major operations in the Dublin area. Ireland's a very geographically advantageous location. They're an island that is within Europe. It is relatively closer than other parts of Europe to the United States. So this makes Ireland a very geographically advantageous place also for such corporations, for people to travel to. Now, this is a shorter flight. I want to say the flight here was about 5 hours, 45 minutes coming to Ireland from New York City. That's pretty good for Europe. I mean, I would say between maybe Portugal, Ireland, and Iceland, these are maybe the shortest flights to get to Europe. So something that's also advantageous for them. And so we've made it to Dublin Castle. During medieval times, Dublin was actually a walled city that may have looked something like this. This is now a preserved part of Dublin where you're able to walk through. You're able to see some of these original walls, some of these original cobblestone roads. So we're gonna sneak through here, think skinny thoughts. Okay. Wow, look at this courtyard. Wow. I'm actually surprised that there's not more people here. You can see the Irish flag up here on the left, and then you have the flag of Europe right there as well. Now, we've made it to St. Patrick's Cathedral. Really a stunning landscape they have in the St. Patrick's Park here. Don't worry, I didn't forget about seeing some Gothic architecture on this trip. So let's go get a closer look. Now, well, here comes the wind again. But interestingly enough, Jonathan Swift, the author of Gulliver's Travels, was actually the dean of this church for 30 years, right here in the heart of Dublin.
Why don't you say, Dan, come here and bring a jacket?
Finally, very important stop for the Guinness. We are at the Palace Bar. It's 10:30 in the morning in Dublin. It's good. Worth the day trip just right here. Well, the weather is much nicer to us right now. Looks like we got a little bit of reprieve from the rain, which is awesome. Here's our double-decker bus that I will have to take back to the airport soon. It's about 11:15, so I think our last stop might be for some lunch. So, thinking some Irish stew. So we'll see what we can find. And I couldn't leave Ireland without trying a Smithwick's at this fantastic pub, along with an authentic Irish stew, which put me a little above budget, but it was completely worth it. And before you knew it, it was time to head back to the airport to catch my flight home. So we've successfully made it back to Dublin Airport with a total around $13.37 over budget. So the total cost for this trip was $513.37, including airfare, food, Guinness, you name it. So I'm gonna go catch my flight back to New York City, and thanks again for joining me.